Hello, beautiful soul. I'm Samantha of Senses of the Soul, and this is my August 2025 Ascension Energies update. Welcome to my channel. Thanks for being here with me. For those that are new and returning, I really do appreciate you being here and listening to me. So, August's theme is all about finding freedom within, more freedom to be you, more freedom to be true to you. And this month's energies support us to continue our incredible inner transformation in this year of living through the heart. That's what I've called it. And August is about more transmutation, internal transformation, and alchemical transition. A lot going on this month as we move deeper into the Lion's Gateway portal, and some incredible cosmic dates that are going to assist us to have even greater soul realization. And there's even more light coming in through cosmic events that are going to affect great change, not only in the collective, but in ourselves personally. I'm going to speak today about your ascension journey and how that relates to the work that I do, which is chakra archetypes, nature's medicine, and cosmic events. I'm a registered herbalist and a contemporary medicine woman and an evolutionary oracle. And I work with plant and crystal allies that support our human ascension process. They've been assisting me, my clients, and many others for almost 25 years. And I can't believe I'm saying that, 25 years next year. August theme with this finding more freedom within, we are going to be working with the sixth chakra and the 12th chakra. So the sixth chakra is the brow chakra, and the 12th is up in the vibrational field that we have. And the two archetypes that we're going to work with as we engage these two chakras more are the sage and the alchemist. The key words that are going to come through this month are wisdom. So that brow chakra, wisdom, imagination, intuition. So we're going to be engaging that more. Psychic perception. Some will become more psychic. Personal transmutation, psychospiritual transformation, and alchemical transition. And when we go through this, especially transmutation takes a lot more energy than transformation. So depending on where you are in this ascension process will really depend on what your symptoms are, what your body is like, your age, your awareness. So it's a little bit different for everyone. However, I'm going to go into what we're going to be going through, and then you can take what resonates for you and leave the rest behind. We're also in what I call the cosmic cycle of creation, which is fire. So we have fire, we have earth, we have metal, we have water, and we have wood. And we've been in the fire cycle since June. And this cycle is, again, about personal transmutation. So it can be a really tough cycle to be in. You have to tune into levels of burnout and fatigue as we go through this, because there's so much transmutation. As I said, it's like burning off very quickly and then rising from the ashes like the phoenix. It takes great energy to do that through the whole body, with the mind, and all the energy and the light that is coming in, particularly through June and then July, August, September, which are very spiritual months. And this is a very spiritually transformative year. So the fire cycle deepens your sense of passion. Like it's asking you to do that, and your sense of growth and accountability. So that is what you're working with, as well as connecting more to divine feminine, to divine creation over all that energy, and your own sense of creativity. So you can put that out into the world and reclaim it again and really shine your light in the world, because we are all needed and our awareness is needed so that we can raise up the collective. And when we're in this fire cycle of creation, we need a lot of patience. We need to look for balanced effort. Remember, I said tuning into burnout levels, because generally it's also going to be a very busy time for people. And directed action, so that you're not doing too many things and spreading yourself too thin. Again, that can cause burnout. So continue to tune into that as you move through this fire cycle. So with August energies, they're going to bring this sense of alchemy again. And again, that takes a lot of energy. There's going to be more light, even more light and more coding coming from the cosmos that really seeks to move through us, to initiate us into new awareness very quickly. And so that we remember that we are a channel for abundance, for beauty, for grace, for joy. And we have to find that amid all the chaos that's happening in the world right now, everything's changing very, very quickly. And that we are allowed to be free in all of this, to unplug from the matrix and receive all that we need. Okay, so we are not a victim anymore. So we are not enslaved anymore. So we are going to find and be prepared for a new level of freedom as we move through August and into September, when we have the second DNA upgrade of the year, which gets initiated through the 999 gateway, that September 9th gateway. So it's a lot. And you may be really tired right now. I personally am taking a few weeks off here after I finish putting my video and newsletter out. I do need that. I just feel that sense of my body is going to need more rest. So continue to do that as much as you need to, as well as find joy and gratitude as you move through this. You know, really deepen your relationships if you can. Our relationships are changing quite a bit. But for those of you that are suffering a lot through this, especially with Ascension symptoms, my heart goes out to you. I know this is a really tough time for many people on many levels, and we're being tested and challenged so much. So get the support that you need to. Please be aware. Awareness really helps, and knowing that many others, I mean, we're all going through this together, but many others are like you, and they're aware of the Ascension process and what's happening. So please know that you're not alone. So the August energies are going to give us that cosmic nudge to fully release the victim archetype. And that's going to kind of tip some people over the edge. I feel it's getting us to move on, and it's time to really trust the universe as we do this and ourselves, and fully let go. So there's no more karmic looping. And that includes in the body. The body takes about 3 months to 2 years to catch up sometimes. I found this as I've been working with clients over the years. As we go through the ascension process and have shifts in consciousness, the body takes longer to catch up. So that's why your body is going through what it's going through. It must also dump and get ready for this influx of light and be able to upgrade as well with your sense of consciousness. And we're being asked now to find this sense of closure, to really have a more wise heart as we let go, so that we can find more peace and inner balance, and really leave that past trauma behind, those emotions that were still there weighing on us and sucking our energy, and relationships that don't serve us or didn't serve us. So to do this, we have to grieve our losses. So you may find you're going through more grief and anxiety. I'll go into the symptoms in a minute here, but there is a lot that's going on, and it's amplifying. It's going up and down depending on the person and where it's stored in the body. And the energies this month, though, in August, this is the final catalyst, okay, to really do this. We'll be transforming all year long, but this is another big push as we go through to level up as we go through the 999 to prepare us as we get towards the end of the year for even greater expansion, if you can believe that. So this is quite the ride. And as you're doing this, you'll, again, as I said, be really looking to embody this sense of fire and passion and creativity and more strength, as well as this energy of transformation and transmutation, which is always a little more painful, I find, so that we can spiral up to this new level of being and create a reality that's in alignment with this. So we're in Mercury retrograde right now. We will be until August 11th. So that's also adding the pressure to this to continue to transform and transmute, and allowing us to do that deeper dive, because it's a very reflective time period into any remaining limitations, any soul memories to release that really keep us from being authentic and present and centered in ourselves, centered in our power, centered in an empowered heart. So as I mentioned, the two chakras that are going to aid us with this very magical and cathartic process are the 6th chakra, which is the brow, and the 12th, which is known as the white star, and along with the sage and the alchemist archetypes. So the sage, which is wise, as I'm sure you can imagine, as the sage, the shadow is the intellectual. So this is when we only use the intellect to get us through life. And the intellect is always attached to the ego. And we're really learning to have that fall away more and more so we can just be us without any attachment. So that's going to be pushed even more, and we're going to transform even more and alchemize even more as we go through August. And then the alchemist shadow is the destroyer. So again, that sense of continuing to hang on to what no longer serves us and sucks and drains our life force. Okay. And when people don't want to let go and move on or forgive and let go, then you tend to go into destroying mode, okay, sabotaging mode. But destroying, ultimately destroying your body takes the hit actually quite a bit when we are in that destroyer archetype. It also can destroy the mind, destroy your peace of mind, destroy the quality of your life. So we want to embody the sage and the alchemist. They're the more positive archetypes and energies in that sixth chakra, okay, in that brain, that mind, that beautiful brain that we have, that we are learning to use with awareness and mindfulness. And the sage really strengthens when we embody that, our intuition and our inner knowing, okay, because generally what will sabotage us the most is fear and the ego. So as we tap more into our intuition and our inner knowing, right, then we can become more aware of what we're doing and aware of what's healthy for us, what's not healthy for us. And the alchemist really helps us take responsibility for our healing, right? Finding the will to transform that fear and alchemize it into peaceful resolution, into wisdom, and the co-creative action, okay, not the destructive actions, but co-creative action for the highest good. We come out of that destructive mode, which we see happening in the world when people are playing power games, ego games, when we are not centered, when we are not peaceful, and when we're not in the heart. So then we get on to the white star. And the white star is that 12th chakra and that learning, which takes us to a whole other level, takes us way up into the higher self. It's about ascension. So moving into the next level of ascension so that we awaken on every level of awareness. So whether that's spiritually, mentally, emotionally, physically, everything has to come along in this 3D world, in your body, with you as you go up in ascension. If it doesn't, then the body gets worse, right? As it does. And then as we spiral up, though, then it should come into more health and more healing. The problem is we're going so quickly through this that it's hard for the body to keep up. It's even hard for the mind to keep up. So much is changing. So letting go and surrendering right now is exceptionally important. Something we all have to work on, I'm sure. And just surrendering to what is so that we can heal into that next level of wholeness. So as we come into that 12th chakra white star energy in a positive way, as we really get that chakra moving properly and engaging properly, then we get the gift of divine discernment, discerning and learning. So we get out of the looping, right? So we don't keep repeating the same mistakes, issues, and bringing in the same mistakes, issues, relationships, or issues in relationships. We can really discriminate between the desires and choices that are healthy and soul sustaining and those that are destructive and create disharmony in mind and body. So there's no more looping, as I said, on all levels when we move to this next level of ascension and we move to this next level of our self-actualization, self-mastery. And this is what we are going through in the ascension process, whether we like it or not. So I always say it's better to lean into those sharp corners because this is what your soul came here to be and to learn, right? That's the growth. And that's the new paradigm that we're working and moving into out of this old materialistic, hedonistic type of lifestyle and life. We're moving into more self-mastery, self-actualization, ascension, co-creation, and learning to connect to all parts of ourselves. Because when we move into that 12th white star, we come into all parts of the Trinity, all parts of ourselves. We move into that higher self. We truly do come into wholeness within. So how you can work with this is take a look at what you've learned. So if things are still coming up for you, and if they are, even if it's old stuff and you're going like, why am I not done with this? Is because you still have some attachment to it on some level, whether it's physical, mental, emotional. And take a look at what you've learned from it. Turn it around if it's still coming up and causing you anxiety or pain of any kind or anger. Take a look at what you learned from it. What was the opportunity in it? How have you been illuminated by it? And then get out of your own way, meaning really work to let it go on that level. Okay. The cosmic energies are going to support you. Essentially, no blaming or shaming and no holding on. So, no playing the victim. That's what we're going to be asked to fully release, to find that inner freedom, that next level of inner freedom, real inner freedom. So, there's 2 plant and crystal allies to support you this month. The first one is wormwood. And wormwood is a plant that I use in my practice quite often, actually. I also have it in my alchemist essence and elixir. So it's part of the alchemist archetype. And so biochemically, it can support the adrenals, which right now, when there's a lot of fatigue going around, it's great for that. I also use it as a parasite remedy and a digestive aid. So spiritually, it really shifts in us the energetic field we have where there's attachments to us. So it has a lot of cleansing fire energy. It's much more masculine. It's part of the Artemisia family, and it's much more masculine versus, say, mugwort, which is also in the same family, which I find more feminine. And by the way, I have wormwood and mugwort both in my oracle deck for those of you that work with my oracle deck. And wormwood is wonderful for supporting in the dissolving of destructive attachments. Remember, we talked about the destroyer, right? Which is the shadow of the alchemist. So it really helps to sever parasitic thought, psychic attack from others when you're still hanging on to these memory threads, people and entities that are depleting your energy. So it's really good for that. It supports the connection and the wholeness between both hemispheres of the brain. So it really helps those two come into more wholeness so that you can experience clarity and lightness of being. It's very illuminative. That's what I love about wormwood. It grows very high and it's silvery, okay, very illuminative looking. And it allows us to release what no longer serves us to be free. So that's a big part of what we're working with this month. Wormwood is an excellent plant ally for you to work with. And it aids in channeling and divination and hearing spiritual messages. So really tuning in more into what you need to hear for yourself to move forward and to make decisions and feel good about your actions, to make those healthy choices, those divine choices. Ultimately, it brings in purification and it supports us to shed heavy emotions. So know that you're going to be going through more still waves of those heavy emotions, but really shedding them and those unconscious patterns, especially as you go through the rest of Mercury retrograde, okay, that are creating internal disharmony and lowering your vibration. So that is important as we're moving through this. Wormwood is an excellent plant ally for that. And the other ally you can work with this month, a crystal spirit ally, is garnet. And garnet is part of the 12th chakra, that white star. It really resonates with that. I have it in my white star essence. Wonderful to develop greater spiritual sensitivity to what's around us, okay, in the spiritual world, as well as awareness of what other people are dealing with, what you're dealing with. So it makes you very much more attuned, okay? So this is like sensing, so taking up your sensory system to another level. And that's part of what will be happening as we go through this month. And so it may feel a little strange. The brain is going to shift quite a bit as we go through this month. You're going to be sensing things a lot more beyond our normal 5 senses. So you can really use garnet to help you bring in this sense of wisdom, this greater sense of wisdom that you need as we go forward. And especially as we're in a world that has a lot of chaos, a lot more AI, it's hard to know what's real, what's not real, and or depending on what is shifting in your life, so that you can really pick the pieces that still serve you on all levels and move on. It really can reconcile that past and strengthen your connection to the present, to the here and now. Right? That helps us very much stay present, and when we are present, to be balanced and to have more internal harmony. So, as I said, really focus this month on fully letting go so that you can move forward, so that you can bring in this final level of healing for yourself. I know you're in that right now, that you can embody that fire and passion and creativity and strength that will help you move forward and transform your life, transmute yourself internally, and so that you can spiral up to this new level of human being and create that reality that you want, in alignment with that, with your wise heart, living through that wise heart and tapping into your soul or divine blueprint. And so I have, as always, products that I make and lovingly put energy into for you to support you this month. I have the Sage Elixir and Essence, as well as the Alchemist Elixir and Essence. Both of those will support you to move forward, to take action towards your higher purpose, unblock patterns and self-limitation and stagnation, okay? So that you can really focus on what's important in your life, to clear all that debris out of the way, clear that heavy emotion, release all of that pain from the body, right? And trauma, finally let it all go, and to move up into a higher level of awareness for yourself, more of that true self. I also have my fire element essence. I talked about the fire cycle, right? Patience, balanced effort, directed action. So I have that as well. And then the compassionate innocent essence and the wise advocate essence, which are the two new earth archetypes overall that we are embodying this year on our great galactic heroes journey. So there's more about that on my website. If you're interested, we are on a galactic heroes journey, and we will be until 2032, to bring in this new age of love, where we finally will start into that more so in 2032. We'll be ready overall to step into that new paradigm. I have my Chakra 12 White Star Essence. Again, that white star, when we are working with that this month, is really going to reconnect ourselves, to allow that soul and divinity remembrance within us. We're going to bring in more heart opening, deep compassion and love, and more renewal from source. So take a look for that as you move through August, and the White Star Essence can support you with that. I also have my Illumination Chakra tea and spray. Helps with lots of alignment with those chakras. We need all that alignment there. That's why the body's going through what it's going through, in order to bring in all of this cosmic coding to affect change. Okay, psychospiritual and physical symptoms that you can watch for this month. As I've been saying, and I'm going to keep saying it to the end of the year, the body and the mind are really going to be challenged to come into greater synthesis with wholeness, okay, with the concept of compassion, co-creation, and pulling information in a different way, okay? And so when we do that, the central nervous system, in particular, the nervous system overall, becomes very taxed and stretched as we come into more attunement to these higher frequencies. You may be seeing that more in sort of feeling like your nervous system is short-circuiting, or you startle more easily, or you feel more frazzled and fried in your nervous system. Right there, that means you need more support. Okay, and there's different ways you can do that, but just know that that signals that your nervous system is going through an upgrade, and it probably needs more support. Now, the sun's been fairly quiet through July. We'll see what August will be like, and whether there'll be some greater solar events that will, along with the cosmic events I'm going to talk about in a bit here, will be helping us move to this new level, but also, again, then affects the body and the mind. So get the support as you need it. So as you go through this month, you may find you have more self-esteem with less ego, that you can really just be you, and you do not get triggered so much when people say certain things. You're more comfortable with yourself. that you have more wisdom from your past experiences. You feel wiser. You have more emotional intelligence, more visionary consciousness. So you're seeing what you could be doing that you want to create as you go forward. Imagination may come online more ideas. Your intuition may heighten more insight and perspective and discernment. Remember I said, and psychic perception. And just having greater attunement to the world around you. Spend a lot of time in nature. That will really help anchor this, by the way. And you may have more sense of your values, being more anchored in that and hearing that inner voice more. And then increasing your sixth sense sensations, your channeling, your telepathy, and all the clairs. I talk about that in my written Ascension update. So take a look at that on my website. Okay. Just more connection to your heart-based decisions overall, not so much in your mind. Feeling stronger and connected to that and making those choices as you move forward in your day to day, more awareness of healthier emotional boundaries within yourself. Okay. And just moving on overall. Now, the shadow side of that, as always, we know that comes in when you look at those archetypes in particular. We have the destroyer and we have the intellectual. Fear. There may be more fear, more anxiety. You may have more busy or trying to distract yourself a lot, inability to concentrate, control issues, right? Worrying about the future still or the past. You might dip in and out of these things. Okay, revisiting the past. The past may be coming up, blasts from the past, as I call it. You may have a hard time relaxing. You may feel tension in your body, more self-importance. You may really want to spiritually bypass with the intellect. Right? For those of you that have my book, I talk about that spiritual bypassing or using the intellect to get your way through life and pretending that you're spiritual. I talk about that in the 6 chakras. So take a look at that just so you can be aware if you see it in yourself or others. It's important. There may be more sense of burnout, headaches, fever, dizziness, eye issues, a mental confusion, perfectionism may come up. Again, that self-esteem, depression, a lot of dreaming still, quite a bit of dreaming that we're doing. That subconscious is very active. Some may still want to be a victim and be in that lack of responsibility or accountability, and a refusal to just let go and learn from the past, resistance to change. So take a look at that within yourself and be accountable for that and really be mindful and try to shift that within yourself. Okay. Day by day, moment by moment. I have more on my website, as I said, so take a look. But overall, really, the brain's going to be affected quite a bit as we go into August. The pituitary gland, the hypothalamus, so the way that works, so that may affect hormones, for example, okay, may affect the adrenals more. Eyes, the sinuses, the skin on the face, the autonomic nervous system, the heart, okay, flushing, arms, hands, legs, chest, and that thymus gland in particular is the area of the subconscious, okay, immune system. So if you have any concerns, please get support for that. Some can get through this, others can't. But as this process goes on, it gets harder and harder on the body because it's continual. So you need to really look after yourself. Otherwise, you can get out of balance very quickly. Okay, and finally, cosmic dates. Well, we have quite a few again as we go through August. So we have August 8th, that's the 8/8. So that's when the Lionsgate portal peaks. So it started July 26th. So we're already ramping up, okay, into the sense of empowerment and more internal transformation. And that ends August 12th. And then August 9th, we have the 899 gateway. So 2 very potent portals. And they will affect us quite a bit in terms of our sense of empowerment. Watch that digestive area, that 3rd chakra, with the Leo energy that comes through that. It can really affect the spine, it can affect the heart, and it can also really affect your digestion, that 3rd chakra. Okay. And also on August 9th, we have the full moon in Aquarius. Now, this book ends another moon that we had January 29th, which was the new moon in Aquarius. And that was when we began the year of the wood snake. It's in the Chinese zodiac. And it really is about renewal and transformation. So having the full moon in Aquarius is On August 9th is when we sort of culminate that energy, okay? So that we kind of spill over into the next level and get ready for that DNA upgrade. We also have August 12th and 13th, the Perseid meteor shower, and that starts July 17th, or did already start, and ends in August 24th, but it peaks on the 12th and 13th, and as always, meteor showers, as I always say, bring in more illumination, so you may have more ahas and some closure there. And then August 22nd, we have the new moon in Virgo. So we start to shift out of that Leo energy into Virgo energy. And as I said, Mercury retrograde, it goes until August 11th. So expect that your symptoms will be quite a bit deeper, especially emotionally, until we come out of that retrograde August 11th. But again, it's different for everybody. So take care of yourself. Remember, you are preparing as you go through August for this big DNA upgrade in September. Plus, we get into, again, the second set of eclipses this year. So lots of change, lots of transformation. Take care of yourself, be good to yourself, love yourself. And again, give yourself a big hug often, because this is a huge process for you to be going through. Please don't be hard on yourself. Be kind to yourself, be kind to others. We really need that right now in the world. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you in September. For those of you, by the way, that have my DNA course that I have on my website, I'm going to be putting a new DNA upgrade for this one coming up video on there. I will let those of you that purchased it know that. And I will have that out at some point here in August as well. Okay, be well. And I'm also going to rest too. And I will see you later. Sending you a galaxy of love.